Welcome to another episode of Can We Talk TV. Get to know your hosts, Peter and Helen Yapel, as they are the New York State chapter coordinators of the Human Solution International, where we believe no one should go to jail for a plan. Peter and Helen are ministers, living the changes they wish to see in the world. Peter is a patient that learned the science behind the cannabis plant as he healed. Helen supported and cared for him by learning the medicinal values of foods, and now their allegiance is to the plant. Currently, they teach. They spread the knowledge that they've acquired through all social media, radio, and now through TV. So sit back and learn how to simplify and live a canna lifestyle.
Welcome to another episode of Can We Talk, where we live the changes we wish to see in the world. Hi, babe.
Hey, honey.
How are you?
I'm doing good.
Yeah.
Each week, everybody, we hope you'll join us here where we'll try to educate you, we'll entertain you, and teach you how to live a canna lifestyle.
That's what we do.
That's right. And listen, canna lifestyle's about, part of a canna lifestyle is about chilling, relaxing, and being with people you love.
It's about taking it slow.
Yeah.
It's
Enjoying,
about
smelling the rose.
And evaluating each situation and understanding it for what it is, rather than just walking through it.
That's right. That's right.
Because-
Actually living it, you know.
Yes, actually living it.
Yeah, you know, a lot of people just walk through life, like you're
They
saying,
do.
you know, and just do
With
the
their eyes
motions.
closed.
They just
They
all through the
don't-
motions,
yes,
through the motions.
They don't see what's. And I think that's why I always say to people when I talk about the traveling that we've already done.
Yeah.
And I say that everybody should do this, at least once in their lifetime. But I am so glad that we did it at the time that we did, because I would have missed so much had I had done it before. Because
if I wasn't sick, we would have rushed.
well, no, I'm saying that it's not even about. I'm saying that it just your mindset. Like I would not have had the wherewithal
Yeah. Age-wise, you're talking.
to. Well, yeah, stay with me, man.
Yeah. No, I get that 100%. But we had the weekend here. We have always talked about our week because I love our weeks. And our weekend was a good weekend.
It
We
was
got
a great weekend.
First off, we had a week off because of Memorial Day.
Yeah, so that's
and
why
that
he's a little out
weekend
of
was a
sorts.
great weekend because it was Helen's 50th birthday
Yes.
and our wedding anniversary. Our fourth one, by the matter of fact.
Yes.
And we had a little party at the house. It was a blast.
We did, in our new house, which I love.
Mm-hmm.
We are all moved in now, and
It's an island.
well, with all the rain, I was telling people if you come visit, you might want to bring your mud boots or
It's
even
great.
a kayak.
I'm telling you, if you're a redneck and own a truck, you can get in and out. If you don't, then you got to park at the end of the
Don't come.
driveway.
And now we are going to discuss clinical cannabinoid deficiency syndrome, because there is such a thing.
Mm-hmm.
There definitely is such a thing. And let me tell you the things that I found on the research that I did that it affects, and what they believe scientifically that this syndrome, this deficiency, is
From.
So, clinical endocannabinoid deficiency, CECD, is a condition where an individual produces a lower amount of cannabinoids than experts consider to be essential in the promotion of health, vitality, and well-being. Hence, homeostasis.
Okay, but
Right?
question
Wait
being
a
is-
minute, I'm not done. There is
Okay.
no question because I'm not done.
Okay.
Scientists now believe that CECD may play a role in the following conditions. Number one, fibromyalgia, which everybody has. Pain. In general, pain. Anorexia, depression, irritable bowel syndrome, migraines, post-traumatic stress disorder, neuropathy, Huntington's disease, Parkinson's disease, motion sickness, and autism.
3 French hens, 2 turtle doves, and a partridge in a pear tree. It'll help with everything.
Agreed.
And we're definitely suffering from all these things
Yes.
because of this.
Yes.
And
That's for sure.
Right. And why do you think we're in this position?
As far as us being cannabinoid deficient?
Yes.
Well, because they took cannabinoids away from our everything. They stopped us from growing it. It's not in our medicines, so it's no longer in our food, not in the air we breathe. We don't ingest cannabinoids, not in the manner that we need to. Yes, there are plenty of plants with cannabinoids, but there's plants that have enough cannabinoids that can actually make a difference for us.
All I know is that I'm sick and tired of playing word games
Yes.
on this, and I'm sick and tired of this being an issue. It doesn't need to be an issue. We can help so many people with their health.
That's right.
So many people every single day with their health.
There's too much proof
They can
out
do
there.
it themselves, is what you all don't understand. Everybody can do this themselves. This isn't magic. It's not
Nope.
specially whoop-de-doo and we
You're
got
just giving
miracles
you're just
happen.
giving back to your body what it naturally produces, but has been stripped of.
And if you have the ability to grow this plant, if you're a responsible adult, you should be able to grow this plant and use this
Absolutely.
plant however you want to
Absolutely.
use it. Do whatever whatever you want to do with it. But the fact of the matter is you can do it all safely, sound in the comforts of your own home without any worry. You don't have to worry about all these things the government wants worried about us being poisoned with pesticides and being poisoned with all this. If you're doing it in your own home and you want to poison yourself with pesticide, go ahead. I don't care. But if you know better and you don't, then there's hydroponic ways to grow. There's there's clean dirt ways to grow. There's just so many ways to grow this plant.
And looking for those that are ones that don't want to that don't want to get high. They don't want the THC
Yeah.
effects of the plant, but you are curious and want to know about the benefits, the health benefits. Then definitely heed what Pete's saying and grow, because let me tell you,
Yeah.
the best way to ingest is that raw plant. Eat
yeah.
it in a salad.
Yeah, because you won't get high. You can't get high.
You can't, because the THC has
Right.
not been activated.
Right.
So, yeah, absolutely. I mean,
There's such easy ways that we
they
can
can't
battle.
put us all in jail.
Right. And not only that, listen,
We need to do it. We
there's
all
just-
need to. We all need to do it.
there's such an easy way to defeat this major problem that's going on. All of these health issues that she's talking about that are going on because of cannabinoid deficiency don't even touch the surface of what socially is being ruined with us. Socially, we can't even make correct decisions. We're
No.
always agitated. We're always ready to fight and scream and yell rather than be compassionate, relaxed, and laid back. And listen, people go, oh, I mean, listen, laid back, stoned, and being compassionate is not. I got more energy than 10 people anymore.
And he goes and goes and goes.
Listen, it's truly all about just feeding your body what your body really needs so that you can be as healthy as you can be. Am I still healthy? No, I still have health problems. This is the point that people don't. This is why when I hear people mention the word miracle with cannabis in the same sentence, I say it's not a miracle. It's just doing what it's supposed to do. And being that we're not allowing it to do what it's supposed to do, we have a whole society of people suffering.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Suffering. I mean, we don't even realize to the extent of how we're suffering.
Right.
I mean, we're literally sleeping through how much we're suffering. I mean, you
And we
understand what I'm
truly
saying?
are, yeah.
It's horrible what's happening to us, and this. What was so familiar to me while doing the research on this deficiency was the symptoms of it. The symptoms of the deficiency, how people don't make decisions from logic and knowledge. They
yeah.
make decisions from fear.
Yes.
And there's
There's a
people
whole-
are not functioning properly.
There's
I've
a
been
whole-
saying it, and I've been labeling people as sleepers and saying it freely because, again, I was one. But we have so many people that are just walking around, talking and doing, but their brains are just not awake. And they think they are. And when someone like me, who was there at one time and whose brain is still waking up, and I'll say that until I don't feel it anymore. But when I say that to people, they get offended. They get on their
Well, of course
defenses
they get
rise
offended.
quickly. Yes, but you know what? I am someone who's been there. I'm someone who's been on the other side. I'm someone who's been on that pharmaceutical hamster wheel and lived that lifestyle and conformed to that way of, I can't even call it that way of life because I never lived. It was an existence, period. And if I'm able to get to here from there, then why wouldn't you listen to me?
Because not everybody knows you. But I'll tell you one thing. I know where you were, and I've seen where you were, and I know where you are now, and you're a completely different human being.
For sure.
Physically,
I
everything,
was
mentally,
sleeping.
everything. In every aspect. So am I. I mean,
I wasn't around. I was physically around, but I was not emotionally or mentally around. And I did this. Had an 18-year marriage and gave birth to kids. Had a 10-year marriage before that. Gave birth to kids. 18-year marriage. Oh shit! I have no idea how I even got through it.
Yep.
Because I slept through them. I mean, I was awake in the beginning, probably until I hit 25.
Wow.
And then I fell asleep.
She's awake a lot longer than I was. All right, guys. Well, listen, we're going to take a break, but this is something you really should look into. And everybody should be on a CBD regimen.
Yes.
Every human being should be on one. And,
CBD regimen, clean eating, and exercise. Homeostasis
meditation.
simply will not be found without a cannabidiol therapy. It's just a fact.
It can't be, really. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Pissed Off Pete. I have been following the debates and stuff going on at the FDA in Washington over cannabis, CBD, hemp products in general, and it's been alarming in a lot of ways. It's been a bit off-putting, the ignorance of some of the testimony that's been put forth, because it's not based on fact. There's no fact base on a lot of the stuff that's going out there. But there's one thing that the government is interfering with that is really, truly, it boils my blood, because you can walk into any gas station I know in the state of New York. I can't really say for anywhere else at this point in time because I'm not walking around those states. But you can walk in there and buy hemp, gummies. You could buy these syringes of hemp juice stuff, whatever they want to call it. I don't even know what they're calling it, honestly. But you can buy all these things, candies and all, like I'm saying. No problem. But the government has a problem if we own a product, say, such as honey. Say we produce honey, and our livelihood is honey. And we understand that if we infuse, CBD isolates or a cannabis oil, full spectrum oil, whatever way we choose, to infuse our oil, to infuse our honey, to make it an even more healthy product, we're breaking the law. Okay, let's rewind. You can go in a gas station and buy some damn gummy from China that has zero health benefit whatsoever, is loaded with all sorts of garbage and whatever else, and the government's fine with this. They're absolutely fine with you eating junk and garbage and ingesting things that will poison you. The Food and Drug Administration will allow certain amounts of arsenic in your food, will allow certain amounts of rat feces in your food. It's acceptable levels. But we can't infuse a product of ours with the healthiest plant on this planet without being held, with the utmost of the law, ready to guillotine us or throw us in prison for the rest of our life without the possibility of parole. Because yes, folks, that's what cannabis prisoners get. Life in prison without the possibility of parole. 25 years to 40 years. 25 years and up, 10 years for 2 plants. I don't care what you're getting. It's a plant. There's no victim. There's no crime. But if you have that plant, you should be able to do with it as you please. And if you own a business and you have a product and you want to add cannabis to it, why can't you? You can put significant amounts of arsenic in. You could add rat crap, and the government wouldn't have a problem with it at all. You could add rat crap to your honey and sell it. But if you put cannabis in it, you go to jail. Stay out of our business, stay out of our health, and let us people heal. That's why I'm pissed off this week, people. Stop by next week, because you know somebody's going to piss me off.
People are making these choices based on fear. So that's what's keeping that propaganda alive.
Right, it keeps feeding into that governmental thing where the government's letting us believe that this plant's going to harm us somehow, and after all of the years
And
it's ever existed, it's never killed anyone.
It's horrible how much of that is still alive.
I know. Well, it's horrible that we live under the fear of that government rather than standing up to it because it's our government.
Enough is enough. We all need to band together, and we all need to fight to free the plant, end prohibition. Everybody should grow. Everybody should
in jail for this
ingest.
plant.
Nobody should be in jail for this plant. We need to make this right. Our futures depend on it.
Okay.
All of our futures depend on it. Our
Future of the
children,
earth.
their children. Yeah, the future of the earth.
All right. All right, guys, we'll be right back.
Hey everybody, Pete Yapel at Candidate Talk CBDs. We proudly represent Willow Creek Springs products here. And I'm going to tell you a little about one of our products today. It's a CBD sublingual spray. These CBD products we carry have very few ingredients because you don't need additives like sugars and colorings. Our product contains 3 simple ingredients: CBD isolates, coconut oil to bind the isolates to so you get immediate effect, and peppermint oil because, hey, unless you're a plant eater, CBD oils really don't taste all that great. But hey, listen, for general inflammation, for depression, for anxiety, CBD sprays like this are perfect. They can be carried in your pocket. They're just 2 sprays under your tongue, a quick dose. Look us up at CanadaWeTalk420.com and visit our website so that you can see where these Willow Creek Springs products can be available to you.
Welcome back, everybody. And here we have Libertarian Gary Triestman, right? Triestman.
There you go. Awesome.
Triestman. That was a pretty cool way of saying it. Joined the Libertarian Party in the early 90s, right? And
Yeah,
now
I think I've been a Libertarian even before that, before I had a name
Before
for
you
it.
knew.
Yeah, before I knew the name for it.
Agreed.
The very first time I officially saw anything Libertarian Party was an article in Playboy magazine. It was called Party Time.
There you go.
And they were covering the Libertarian National Party convention for that particular year. And I was saying, really? Is that interesting?
Yeah.
And then as I'm reading through it, I'm saying, hey, that's all my values, you know?
Awesome.
Live and let live, basically.
Yes.
Absolutely. I never even really labeled myself. I mean, of course, when I was 18 years old, I was a Republican because my father was
parents
a
were.
Republican and everybody else was a Republican, so I didn't know anything but to be a Republican. I didn't even know what a Republican was. But as I
What is a
grew,
Republican?
at this point in time, we can't say those words on TV still. No, I'm only kidding. Hey, listen, there's good people all around, I believe, but I don't believe in just 2 parties. It's just such an old antiquated system, and why is there always a third eye anyway? You know, isn't there supposed to be a third eye? That's
You
the way
need
I
to have
look
your
at it.
third eye
That's
to
right.
see the light.
That's
you
right.
know what the truth is.
That's right.
That's right.
That's right.
That's right.
But now you're running for town justice.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Woodstock town justice.
And for real justice, hopefully.
Awesome.
You know,
Awesome.
the problem with town justices is that very little of it is dispensed to the defendants generally. The town justices obviously deal with petty crimes and whatnot,
Right.
but they also deal with petty civil disputes.
Of
Yeah,
course, yes.
you know, basically small claims court and whatnot. And from what I understand, also, and I've not had much experience with this in the local courts, but they also deal with some petty family court matters.
Okay.
You know, essentially when there's like a restraining order violation,
Right.
something like that.
Right.
But in my experience, in courts in general, and this is not supposed to be the way it is, you will have what I call judicially favored litigant.
I think that's a pretty good way to put that.
Really,
That
it's
really
not
is.
supposed to be. It's not in the law.
No.
It's not even supposed to be policy. It's, the court is supposed to be completely neutral.
Right.
Down the line, not taking
Right.
sides, not giving any favors
Right.
or benefits or penalties
Right.
to either side.
Mhm.
But when you have a judicially favored litigant or a judicially non-favored litigant, you don't see the necessarily in the big picture, which would be an appealable issue. You see it in the small little decisions. Well, I'm going to give you that one, or I'm not going to give you that one, or the presumption of what you're trying to do is nefarious or duplicitous, as opposed to honestly trying to litigate.
Right.
So what happens is, in many ways, small and bigger ways, that those little decisions slowly begin to peck and chew away at a particular litigant's position.
No, I agree. I agree 100%. Somebody had made a post there, was mentioning something the other day, and I had said, well, that's because the judicial system became dyslexic. You know what I mean? Like, in general,
That was
they were
putting
like,
it very nicely,
like,
dear.
like
Well,
they-
yeah,
they
that's a
forgot-
good euphemism, dyslexic,
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
It
Because
truly is.
dyslexic implies that there's no intent.
Right.
Right.
But there is an
Right.
intent.
Right. But absolutely. There's never anything done without intent, unfortunately.
There's
in our-
supposed to be a neutral playing ground.
Right.
It's supposed to be a referee. A judge is supposed to be the referee, just make sure that the rules are enforced. Instead, they take sides. So, for example, when you have a criminal defendant and the state, the judicially non-favored litigant is the defendant. And instead of giving the defendant all his rights, as the law mandates and demands, what happens is the judge will actually take sides with the prosecution, give the presumption of good faith to the prosecution and the presumption of bad faith to the defense.
Well, because it's turned into a business deal.
Well, sure.
That's what it is.
I mean, if you're at some level, it's a resource thing, They figure, well, the more favors I give to the prosecution, who is stronger politically than the defendant, well, I can then promote myself politically much better by
Right.
keep doing that.
Right.
But that's not idealistic.
No.
I
And
don't
I believe
believe so
judges need to be idealistic,
Agreed.
consistently
Yes.
idealistic.
Of
Yes.
course.
I mean, maybe not in politics, maybe not at the police level, but at the judicial level, idealism
Yes,
has to
that's
be
right.
there.
Absolutely,
Yes.
absolutely true. And a lot of people don't even know their rights.
Oh.
Even when they go, they're just so
They don't.
ignorant to
Oh my
what
goodness!
their rights
And you
are.
Again,
supposedly get an attorney, right? Who's supposed to look out for your rights,
Yes.
supposed to protect them, supposed to enact them, supposed to do everything that your rights, because he's the attorney, he's the expert. They too fall to that I guess corruption or graft. It's not quite that bad, but it is like in concert, if not conspiracy.
Right. That's a good way to put that. But still, it's not right. Shouldn't be
definitely
that
not. No,
way.
it's not.
And
It's
if
definitely
more
right,
people did things the right way, then we would see change. Because listen,
Originally, attorneys were supposed to protect their clients, and that was the whole idea. Why you had counsel, because it was so sophisticated. You had technical rules, and the average defendant, although entitled, couldn't necessarily keep track of all those rules.
Right.
So you had an attorney, and the ideal was that he was looking out for you, and he was your best friend and everything. As time goes by, entropy creeps into the system, and even your best friend, ostensibly, is no longer your best friend.
Right.
So I'm finding more and more people calling me saying, hey, can I have you as a liaison to my own attorney? Because I'm very familiar with the
Right,
law.
right.
And I can tell when that lawyer is going bad.
Right.
Right.
Or what he's not doing, what he could do
Right.
and isn't.
Right.
So now you need
So
like
you
this
can see
extra layer,
Yeah.
not just between you and the court. Now you need an extra layer between you
Yeah.
and the person
And why
who's
has
supposed to
it
be between
gotten
you
to
and the
this,
court.
though? Why has our system gotten to be run like that? And it's just like that. You go in front of the judge, you kind of stand there and you say nothing, and everybody's talking around you for you,
Right.
and no one knows you don't even know what's going
and then
on.
you walk
Even when you
outside and
do
they go,
know,
yeah, well,
Your lawyer will often not even
Right.
know what he's supposed to do. He won't even do what he's supposed to do. Even when often given everything he's supposed to do on a silver platter, all the research, all the everything,
Right.
and they don't do it. You know, it's like, well, I've done it this way all the time.
Right.
Wow.
But if it goes all the way, if you just think about it, I mean, the federal government's just supposed to be a referee too.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my goodness!
And they've
Talk
taken
about the
completely
federal government.
I know. I'm just saying. In general, it just
The
it goes
one major
all the way up
tool-
the food chain.
The
It's
one
just
major
a
tool the
progressive
federal
thing.
government had given the people, which was the civil rights civil suit violation, a potential that you could sue local authorities in federal court. Okay, so that was created in 1871, right after the Civil War.
Right.
And that was because in the states that the Union had won over the southern states, the locals were still doing discrimination against black
Right.
people.
Right.
So, and they were saying, the federal government was saying, wow, we just won a war and we're still having the same problem. How can we empower the people
Right.
to retaliate against corrupt officials,
Right.
judges, legislators, whatever?
Yeah.
Right.
Right? So they created this rule. I don't know if you're familiar. It's 1980. It's called the subsection 1983, Title 42. It's supposed to be the Civil Rights Act of. It's in the federal government, Civil Rights Act, which empowers people to sue officials for a violation of their federal rights. Okay. Now, if you read the statute, it's very clear, very simple, very straightforward, and very great. But as time went on, the federal courts began making little excuses. Well, it doesn't apply here. It can apply there. And then as time, in the past 15 years, 20 years, they created this thing called qualified immunity. All right, first they had immunity, which is not in the
Right.
statute to begin with.
Right.
All right, so they had judicial immunity was the first thing they did, so that judges couldn't be sued. That's what the judges created out of blue. Then they created sovereign immunity. Basically, you're not allowed to sue the state
The state.
unless they give you permission. But then, as the totem went lower and lower to
trickle
the
down
local cops or whomever might be violating your rights, they created, not too long ago, something like 1985 or a little bit later, something called qualified immunity. And that has been
Probably
the
right after
tail that
Rodney
wags
King or
the
something.
dog.
Probably was right after Rodney King or something like that. It's probably when
Maybe.
that
Possibly.
It's probably
Maybe.
That has been the tail that wags the dog. Now, almost any civil rights suit that is filed by a litigant, like a citizen litigant, is dismissed based on qualified immunity.
Okay.
And there's so much corruption going on behind that. So that one empowering thing is eviscerated.
Right. Right. Well, listen. Hey, we're going to take a quick
Wow.
break. We'll be right back with Gary when we get back, guys.
Pete Yapel, Willow Creek Springs, everybody. How you doing? Today's one of the products I'm going to highlight today is our prostate formula. When we get older, gentlemen, we can be embarrassing. We have a little bit of problems with going and not going and things like this. And it's embarrassing. And if we have to talk to doctors about it, it can be as embarrassing as well. Well, we can eliminate all that from you. Give us a call or look us up on our webpage. And all of our Flower Power products are organic seed to seal at food grade. So nothing to ever worry about taking them. Again, Pete Yapel, WillowCreekSprings.com.
Welcome back, everybody. And here we are again with Gary Triestman.
How do you do?
Awesome. Hey, listen. I believe that if you take a few minutes and you research Gary alone.
You got a lot of reading.
Yeah, there is a lot of reading. Man, believe me, the man's quite accomplished.
He is.
loved it.
He
I loved
is.
reading
There's
his
a
bio.
lot. There's
It
a
was
lot.
fantastic to read.
I don't remember any of it. It's just like someone else did all that stuff. I'm just
You did
here
a
now.
Did a lot.
But if you are in the Woodstock area and you do need a good town justice, why not? I mean, listen to the man's views. He's explaining to you how he can help you, how he would view it, how he would look at things.
What's interesting on that is, even though I'm a libertarian, and many laws of New York State are not libertarian,
Right.
you see, even a libertarian, when you agree to a contract, you can and have to constrain necessarily your ideas and your rules to your contract. You know, if the contract is to say, well, you can't be as free as you want to be because that's part of the job, I understand that.
Right.
You know, so certainly in the capacity of a town justice, I wouldn't be willy-nilly just...
You're not going to be riding on a hood
No.
with blowing a horn.
No.
on
No,
New Year's
of course
Eve.
not.
Of course not.
So, but within the laws, there's a lot of discretion that a town justice can do, and lean completely libertarian light you know, towards that direction. Because a lot of things, and just corruption in general,
Of
just
course.
cut that out, become the neutral person that you're supposed to be.
And see,
Absolutely.
and that's how it's supposed to be done. That's
Absolutely.
definitely
Be the
how
best you can be. Be the changes you wish to see in your world.
Where do
We
you
say
ever
it
hear
all the
guys ever
time.
hear that from?
We
I don't
do,
know.
and it is. Well, that's the best. That's the way to a happy life.
Oh, I agree too. That's why I
you
live it
know,
every day with you.
A happy wife
li-
is a happy life. right?
Living the changes we wish to see in the world.
You don't think I am?
No, we
My
are.
God,
We
if I'm not,
certainly are.
if I'm not,
No,
I've been
we
doing it all
certainly
wrong
are.
for a long time, and I've been exhausting a lot of energy for nothing.
So, and you're what I call a word wizard. That's what I would refer to you as,
Oh,
a word
thank you.
wizard, because you know them all.
You know them all.
Wordsmith.
Which
No,
ones?
he's writing the rules for the Libertarian Party, for Christ's sake.
Well, that's
Yeah,
for Ulster
He is.
County.
He's doing that. The Constitution.
know,
I mean,
yeah,
my
I know.
God.
I am currently writing the rules for
Yes.
Ulster County Libertarian Party.
Yes,
Yeah.
you are.
Yeah.
And we're really looking forward to tomorrow night's meeting, and we'll be at the meeting tomorrow
We're
night.
driving
You're coming
through-
to the HBO?
Oh,
Yes.
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely,
and Peter
yeah.
would have gone to the wrong diner had I not corrected him.
You know, and listen, and it's.
And he says, "Helen, they're still holding meetings there in the and the diners." Because I said, "No, it's not the diner."
Well, it is a diner. It's just another diner.
I have to remember to send a text this evening because I'm supposed to be meeting a friend of mine that's here from Virginia for dinner tomorrow night, and I'm canceling that. to go
Yeah.
to the-
Well, as you might know, the Libertarian Party achieved ballot status last November.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you,
So
Larry.
now
Thank
we're
you,
like,
Larry.
yeah, thank you, Larry. So now we're on par with the Republicans and the
Right.
Democrats. And
Awesome. It's
Right.
just that's sweet.
And
you know,
it's great that we
Sweet.
are. That's why I was said.
truly
now,
is.
Finally, there is a third choice. I mean, why not? I mean, to me,
it
it's
makes them all
essential.
uncomfortable.
So with you
Well, I
being
know it makes them uncomfortable, but still, so what?
But no, really, the electorate needs a third
It
choice.
sure
absolutely.
I mean, so many of them are just disillusioned by the Republicans. It's effectively one
Right,
party in many
right,
ways.
Right, and
Okay,
the
if
thing,
I-
listen, we had the pleasure of interviewing Larry for hours
Yeah.
and hours and
Oh,
hours.
wow.
I mean,
Couple
we
times,
did.
three
We had him on
times, three
radio,
times we did,
radio, TV a couple times. It was.
He's a great
I mean,
guy.
Just a great
He's a
interview.
great
guy.
orator.
I mean,
Yes.
he really
For sure.
truly is. And the thing I like about Larry is Larry learns from the people, and that's just pretty much what it was.
Yeah,
Because if
yeah.
you're going to rule the people,
Yeah.
you got to know what the people want.
This is true.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so many people have forgotten that.
You have to identify.
Yeah, and that's right. And like he said, when he first went out 2 years ago, he didn't know what it meant to come up here and be in a cornfield. He had no idea what a
He
cornfield
grew up in
looked
Manhattan,
like.
right?
Yeah, he had no
exactly.
You know,
idea.
in Manhattan. I
Right.
can identify with that
The
too.
man didn't know what cornfields were. He's seen them on TV, I'm sure, but he probably thought they were, out in Nebraska, but they're really just a few miles up north, But great to see how he grew through the campaign, and it was great to follow him. I spoke for him lots of times, so that was fun too. I believe, did you MC an event? No.
I emceed more than one event.
Did you do the conference?
Which one?
The one, the big, the national. What was it?
With the New York State Libertarian
Yeah,
Party?
yeah.
2013, I organized the whole
Oh,
convention.
okay. I was talking about last time with Larry. I'm trying to
The
think
last
what dang
time
that
in-
was in
in New Paltz.
In Ithaca or
I don't know. I wasn't there. I was
something? You were
working.
Me and Dino went.
In New Paltz, I did that one also.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
I was
man,
working.
I'll tell you,
But,
he really sparked a lot of people. He got a lot of people to understand.
He
get
did. He
interested again.
did, and which he woke a lot of people up, because what happened for so long is so many people weren't even going out to vote anymore.
Right.
I mean, my daughter, my oldest
They thought
daughter's
it was
33
useless.
years
There's no
old and voted
passion.
for the first time this past election.
Because he ran.
He brought
because
passion
he
back.
exactly
Yes, he
because
sure
he ran.
did.
So he definitely woke some people up and got them interested in finding out
And
about
change,
politics
and change
now.
could occur.
Right.
Because
Absolutely.
people get feeling that's entrenched and it's a brick wall.
Yes,
There's nothing that you
yes.
can do. Here we are.
And
We're
that's-
doing something.
that's why we
We're
live
making
by
a little chip at that brick
That's
wall,
right.
and then eventually we
That's
can break
right.
through.
That's right.
People always
That's
sit
right.
back and, they're the crazies, they're the this, they're that. No, they're not. They're the good people, the people that actually have reason and compassion and want to do something for the right reason, something good. And the problem with our world anymore is if we're getting something good, people think that, okay, what's coming? You know what I mean? And because we've been set up for that.
Have you seen the statistics for New York? compared to all the other states. It's 50.
Oh, yes,
Yeah,
I know.
yeah.
For freedom.
I know.
It's 50. We're at the
know.
very bottom of
I
it.
know,
Yeah.
I know. It is horrible here. Everybody always says, well,
And you
then
go 2
leave
states
again.
over to New Hampshire, it's number 2.
Yeah. But everybody says then leave again. But I don't
Well,
want to
look.
leave again. Because, my grandchild's here. I enjoy being here for that. I love New York. New
We
York's
should just
beautiful.
use them as an example for what we should become.
Right.
Absolutely.
And that's what we
Yeah.
do,
Live free or die.
That's
That-
we need to
that's
just be
right.
the changes that we constantly complain about on a daily basis. So many of us complain about wanting things different, and we complain about the wrong things and blame the wrong people. We
Well,
need to
that's
just
what they
look
want.
within.
That's how they
exactly.
make you use up your own energy
Yes.
by attrition. So you're
Yes.
too tired to fight them.
That's right.
If
That's right.
convenience is the biggest killer.
Yes, it
and
is.
It has become it. We had just a crazy thing. We saw an article about confetti and how to stop pollution. Clip confetti out of leaves and then save the
Like a
confetti
little
and you
hole
can use it.
puncher,
You can
you know,
use it
on a-
again,
on
and
a-
then when
on a
you're done,
good
it's
leaf,
biodegradable.
you know?
You throw it outside.
Right.
It's done.
That's a small
right?
way.
And it really works, right? If you just get fresh leaves and you do it.
But
right?
someone commented,
So somebody
like-
comments on it. It's like, yeah, but that's a lot of work. And I'm like, well, you see, do you
That's the
understand
problem.
what's wrong? How much work you're
That's
sitting
a
at
lot
your
of
computer,
work.
you're
Are
sitting
you
and
kidding me?
watching your TV at night. You can't do this while you
Well,
watch
you know,
TV. You're
unless
doing this
people
with
are
popcorn.
uncomfortable
we need to
enough,
just
they
start
won't do
chalking it up to,
anything.
because look, we all know that Mother Nature's purging.
Oh,
okay,
Lord,
she's purging.
she's
So
getting ready to-
people like that
They can
that
take
are,
away your rights. They can take away your rights, and as long as
yeah.
you're just comfortable enough at that certain
That's right.
threshold, no one will do anything about
That's
it.
right.
That's
It's
right.
only at some point they say,
That's right.
What? Something's really wrong here," and then all it hits them. Oh my God,
Yeah.
where are we? What's happening?
That's it. Well, the whole rule by fear thing comes into effect.
Oh, yeah,
you know
that's
I
what
mean?
backs it up.
Well,
You know,
hey,
well,
and
exactly.
being that everybody is cannabinoid deficient,
Right.
You know,
We can't reason.
and
we
that
can't
is the
reason and
truth.
think properly.
That's
to begin
right.
with.
We're
There's
not
a
making
natural
those.
receptors in the brain.
That's
right.
right. And when we don't feed our body the endocannabinoid system, androgynous cannabinoid system, boy, oh boy, isn't that crazy that we have one inside us? Well, maybe we
Endogenous
need to
one.
bolster that at times. Maybe because it's been removed for 100 years, we have the illness.
That's
and
right.
We have as much rampant illness as we do, and people, just get sick all the time. Our kids have ostomy bags.
I know.
Teenagers. It's
They
disgusting.
literally have created a group on Facebook that is kids that are in their early 20s to early 30s with ostomy bags, and they're parading around like as if it's
like-
fashion.
Fashion.
And I'm
Well,
like,
they're
you
designing
kidding
their
me?
own thing because they have to do something. I mean, I get what they're doing. I truly
What
get it. I
about
had
the
an ostomy bag
overdrugging
for
of
9
little
months.
children with psychiatric
Well,
drugs?
yes, not just the psychiatrics. Now we have chewable oxycodones.
For a 10-year-old.
For 11-year-olds.
What about the
yeah, sorry.
antipsychotics
I
that
don't
they're
know
giving
why.
7-year-olds?
It's ridiculous. It's
Do you
got
know
to stop.
anybody who they've given an antipsychotic drug to a 7-year-old? Yes, I do.
Oh,
Yes,
yes.
absolutely.
Many.
My own
Absolutely.
child.
Absolutely.
Against my wishes, they did
Wow.
that too.
Absolutely.
Yes.
That's terrible.
Against your wishes.
Against my wishes, yeah.
And we were having a pretty deep discussion about kids and medicating our children, as we seem to do so easily in this country.
And I was commenting on that as a being, we were evolutionarily grown up without these antipsychotic drugs
Yes.
being put chronically into our systems. So it's truly an experiment on a whole generation of children of they don't know how the thing works. They don't really know what the long-term things are. They see an immediate benefit. They think they see immediate benefit. And they say, oh, that's great. The child has calmed down. And they keep giving the child that. Keep giving the child that. So from an age of 7 to who knows, they don't stop.
Right.
It's being like addicted to it.
Right.
There
When
are
they talk
changes
about
that are
developmental,
unnatural,
Right.
yeah, I
that
know.
nature never intended, never
Right.
expected. Those pathways are not there in preparation
Right.
for that kind of modification.
Well,
See,
here's
you know-
what
you know,
happens.
they-
It's just physiology. It's
Yes,
just your
physiology.
physiology.
They can't be-
When your
they can't be
receptors get
too-
clogged, you can't be
They
working
can't
the
be
right way.
too clueless, though, because I have a child. One of my grandsons was diagnosed and needed to be medicated, so they said. But the neurologist that saw him at that time had, pointed out that these drugs are administered through certain age ranges because of the development of the brain. So they obviously know something for one of them to actually
They
be
give
able
it
to
lip
point out.
service.
Yeah,
please,
maybe
please,
that's what it is. But they
please,
know something.
Please,
I think.
Please, we're talking about a governmental
Yes, I know,
system
but I'm saying that they're accountable.
allows
Is my point.
certain amounts of arsenic in your stuff.
Yep.
Certain amounts of rat feces.
Right in our apple juice.
It's okay to have that, but do not ingest cannabis in any form because you might, I don't know, get better.
Well, at least
You
cannabis,
know, like I don't know
God
what else to
forbid.
say about
cannabis
that.
comes from a natural plant.
Absolutely.
These
Of
synthetic.
course.
Yeah.
And then why do we need a government to make a synthetic version of a natural
We
plant
don't. Oh my
that
God!
we really don't have a
There's
shortage
natural
of? I
version.
promise you.
People are
Of
having
antipsychotic drugs.
People are
It's
having
so
such a hard
crazy.
time with that Epidiolex. They Frankensteined the plant with that Epidiolex, and people are having such a hard time. Not just with titration, they're having a hard time with their other medications and
Well,
the
it's total
counteractions.
side effects.
Well, you know,
that
giving
are-
this to adults who may have a psychosis or a bipolar disease, that's another thing. By that time, the person has calmed down in their development, physiological
Right,
development in
of
their mind
course.
has solidified some. So to treat the symptoms, I doubt if it's ever for a cure. So it's to treat the symptoms, it's understandable. But a child is developing.
That's right.
There's no reason to put, particularly electively,
Yes.
to put these drugs into children's brains. It's an
That's right.
experiment.
Especially when
20
the-
years later,
the
you're going to have a
first-
bunch of nutty kids.
That's right.
The first
And
side
as you
effect
had mentioned,
is psychosis.
all the children who have shot up schools have
Are
been on
all
these drugs.
yeah,
I know
been on these
everyone,
drugs.
because
Every
the
one of
first,
them.
the first side effect is psychosis.
Psychosis.
An antipsychotic causes psychosis.
Well,
I mean,
surely when it's a child growing up, because the mind is like trying to adjust
Right,
to
of
this
course.
strange compound.
Yes.
Yeah.
of course, and it's all because, listen, it was proven, and they proved it when they were trying to prove weight loss. And what they said with weight loss was they understood that if they blocked a certain receptor, that we wouldn't get hungry. So they administer this drug, and it blocks the receptor. No one's hungry, and people are losing weight like crazy, but they're killing their families.
Yes.
And
Because
they
it blocked
wouldn't
their
test
bliss.
it here. They gave it to the people in Europe.
Yes.
And these
They
poor
did.
families in Europe are killing each
Yep.
other and trying to lose,
Murdering
weight
their
at the same
families.
time.
But
I
they're
mean,
skinny.
They looked good doing it. I mean,
What about the simple plant, the ephedra plant?
Yeah.
That actually is an appetite suppressant.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they outlawed that.
Yeah.
And then
Well,
that's what they
sativa
do.
plants in general are appetite suppressants. I mean,
Oh, no, not
mean,
sativa. You're hungry all the time.
No. An
The
indica,
indica.
an indica. If I'm couched, I want to eat a bag of
course.
Doritos. But
They
sativa,
give it
man,
to
I want to
cancer
run around the
patients
house
because
and
they can't.
That's right.
Yeah.
but it's listen. It's all about the miseducation we've been given.
That's right.
And then the information that we need.
That's right.
And people understand that we didn't have these problems with our children before. We didn't have these problems amongst ourselves. We really didn't. We were ill. Don't get me wrong. Famines and things happened, but general health. No, we weren't like that. It wasn't like
They
that.
had a resilience.
Right,
Yeah, we
right.
did.
Because we worked our bodies. We didn't sit in front of something and just like.
In a sense, our bodies are built up over eons of natural evolution. So it knows how to deal with natural circumstances. When unnatural circumstances fundamentally come into
Yes.
play, that's when we get fundamentally sick.
Yes.
And that's what's been happening.
It's
I
the
mean,
difference between
since we've
chronic fear and ordinary fear for a given
Right.
instance.
Right.
Since we've stripped cannabis from even being grown from every farmer that was mandated to grow, we haven't. That's 3 generations. We have nothing in our food. We have nothing in our soil.
Nothing anywhere. Anything,
And then we bring Monsanto in,
And, right.
and we start.
Frankenstein and everything.
Oh yeah, Frankenstein and everything, because it's just not big enough.
But you know the
we
libertarian
need the biggest
position.
everything.
The libertarian position is you own your own body.
Yes.
You can put you should be able to legally put
Whatever you
anything
feel
you
like you
want.
want.
Poison,
We don't care.
non-poison, air,
It's
water,
yours.
whatever you want. You supposedly own your own person. And where is the government to come along and
And
say,
tell you.
hey, you can't do that?
You can't do
or
it.
can
Yeah.
I take Arsenic?
Right.
Well, if you really want to,
Right.
we prefer you not to.
Right, right.
Then,
Right.
well, can I take marijuana? Absolutely not. We're going to put you in
Absolutely
jail for
not,
that.
yeah.
That's
You don't go
right.
to jail for taking arsenic.
Well, because
or
they
listen,
know
you don't go to
how
jail for
good,
raping
Look,
children.
They want
you get probation.
They're the 1%, and
for
we
that.
want to stay
And then
that
you,
way.
And then you get
That's-
probation
There's
for
that's
an
it.
raping a
ideology
child.
behind it.
And-
That's the whole thing.
And you get 25 years for weed. It's we know guys in jail. We fight for the human solution every single day.
doing life.
You know, Craig Cecil. He was a mechanic on a truck that transported weed. Everybody else rolled. He didn't. He didn't roll.
He didn't even
was
know
doing it.
what was on the truck.
He didn't care what was on the truck. He was a mechanic.
He
on
was
the
a
truck
mechanic.
in a different state, but it was part of this convoy, and he's doing life in prison.
Life in prison.
in Indiana, without the possibility of parole.
You got another gentleman that
Michael
just that's
Show us the harm. Where was the harm?
Exactly. There is
But
none.
there's
no
no
victim.
victim. There's no crime.
There's no
Period.
victim, no
Where's the
crime.
crime if there's no victim? And that's our stance.
That's
you
a
know?
very libertarian
That's
stance.
how
That's
we
right.
stance. What our definitely what our
You own yourself
our-
and you own your stuff. And that's
That's it.
basically the core fundamental of libertarianism.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody out there watching needs to register as a libertarian.
They should, really.
Really?
Now you
Honestly,
can actually do that.
You
couldn't-
want change?
I'll
Be
put
the
it
change.
This way. I'll put it this way. Take some time to look at
That's
what the
right.
Libertarian Party really is and what it stands
That's
for,
right.
the people involved in it, and really, Larry's
And
on
that's
every
for,
week.
That's
he
for
does a
all of you
podcast.
that are
He's-
out
he's a
there
great
that
guy.
are in a party because your parents were in
Yeah.
that
That's right.
party.
Yeah.
Reconsider.
Mhm.
Read up.
There's good
And
people out there.
register.
And
There-
register.
There are.
The more
It's so
libertarians that are
important.
registered.
Turnkey Constitution that you've read.
Yes, turnkey constitution.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, a libertarian constitution that was written from the premise and the precepts of libertarianism bottom up.
Okay.
There are a number of things that are similar to U.S. Constitution,
Mm-hmm.
but there are a lot more fundamentals there that the U.S. Constitution and the way that it's effectuated in law would not be there. I mean, would be guaranteed certain things, certain rights that could never be violated.
Right.
The fundamental of libertarianism, once again, is that you own yourself, you own your stuff, and you have the right to associate as you wish.
Right.
And no entity, whether it be private or government, has
Right.
any ability legally to infringe upon those rights.
Right.
So obviously the first things are you can ingest anything you want.
Right.
You can associate with whomever you want as long as it's voluntary.
Right.
Other people are required to do the same for you. They have to respect your rights.
Right.
So when you own something, for example, and let's say that somebody steals something from you,
Mm-hmm.
okay? Ordinarily, and then let's say you know who stole it from you.
Mm-hmm.
In our current system, you have no right to go onto their property
And retrieve it.
and retrieve it.
Right.
Right. You have to literally
Go
go and
through.
appeal to a higher authority to do the thing.
Prove
that-
it's yours. And
Prove it, yeah.
That's
and,
right. Under this Constitution, there would be a well-defined idea of vigilantism. Basically, you could self-deputize.
Yeah, if it's your
Okay.
stuff, go get it.
Go get it.
Right. You should be able to go get it. And essentially, if it's yours, nobody has the right to have it.
Right.
And you don't need to appeal to a higher authority to do that.
It's your
Right.
stuff.
Right.
So that would be one example. The concept I had for it was there are many revolutions, very many coups across the world where you have countries that couldn't take it anymore. The people couldn't take it anymore, and they would overthrow their current governments. And then after they did the hard part, they're like sitting around, now what do we do?
Right. They don't know how
Looking
to run
at
a
each
government,
other,
what
yeah.
to do, right, how to
Well,
organize anything.
We thought that was the hard part. Now you have to really get
Do the
into the
work.
business of
Yep.
governing, right? So the idea of this was, as a drop-in turnkey constitution, here all the thoughts have been fleshed out. We have thought about all the eventualities. All you got to do is, here's your blueprint.
Here's your blueprint.
And this
Put
is
your
how you
name
can
on
do
it
it.
instead of something
Yeah,
else.
that's
Yeah.
fine.
Right.
I don't care as long as it's libertarian.
Right. No, I get it. I get it. Because, listen, those views are just basic, if you ask me. It's just basic. I say all the time, I didn't ask to come here. I was brought here and dropped here, and now what am I supposed to do? You know what I mean? Like, you know, I don't believe nobody owes me anything at this point in time, you know. But the fact of the matter is that I should be able to live how I want to live too. I'm here. It's you know, it's my existence. It's not yours.
You know, in the U.S. government, you keep hearing people that talk about the sovereign.
Yeah.
And that's a healthy concept. The sovereign is supposed to be the people
Yes.
in the U.S. government,
Yes.
right? But as time has gone on, entropy has creeped in, and the sovereign is not so sovereign anymore.
No,
Right.
it's not.
What you think you have is constitutional rights, have slowly had caveats on caveats, exceptions, and, well, yes, you have this right,
But-
unless, or if that is not true, and then, but you know, there's a compelling governmental interest that may usurp that particular right. Now they have constitutional rights with varying levels of importance. You know, currently I think the First Amendment, the right to free speech, is one of the most valued.
Right.
But even that, you know, we're not talking about a fire in a theater.
Right.
Right.
We're talking about substantive conversation, substantive
Exactly.
argument. Even that they are slowly beginning to encroach upon.
Of course, you can hardly say anything.
Oh yeah.
In Canada, I don't know if you heard about this. In Canada, it's even worse.
Really?
Oh my goodness, yes. I'm just reading about this. I don't know what your position on interfamilial dynamics are, but there's this guy whose child, who is a girl, says that she's a boy.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, so you would think that's an interfamilial problem or you know, something to be worked out.
Right.
No. Apparently, the government came in and effectively put a court order on him that said, you're going to go to jail if you refer to your daughter by her birth name, by her birth gender, and if you talk about this matter in any media, you will go to jail.
That's crazy.
What?
Yes. And then, of course, the child is going on, and 15 years old, going on to take testosterone and proceed to have surgery
Right.
against his wishes.
Right.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
And he will go to jail. It's so bad that he can't even complain about it publicly. If he talks to third parties or has them talk about it, he goes to jail for contempt of court. Contempt of court.
How does this even happen?
We've just
And
let
unfortunately, we're in America, but they're slowly doing that.
Oh,
listen,
yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, we're let it happen. We keep letting it happen. I keep telling people we keep letting it happen. There's so many people.
I
that
wish
don't agree
I
with
wish
what's
that we
going
would
on.
wake up and understand the gravity of the situation that we are all in.
Well, listen, I believe that if it wasn't for the Libertarian Party at this point in time, I don't know what I would be.
I
You know what
know,
I mean? Because
I know.
I just don't believe so much of what goes. Or I just have a mixed bag. It's like taking and shuffling the cards.
You know,
It's
the,
like,
the
Right.
fundamental
you do,
difference
so you do.
between the Libertarian Party and most of the other parties, I have to say the Socialist Party is probably as idealistic as the Libertarian
Yeah,
Party.
yeah.
Obviously, I don't believe in socialism.
Right, right.
But at least they have an ideology that's well-defined,
Right.
well-articulable,
Right.
much like
You know what they
libertarians.
are.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Right.
And we don't change.
No.
Yes.
From inception in 1971,
Right.
we have the same rule, the same idea, same ideology.
Right.
And in fact, amazingly, in some ways, you know, it's getting better. We have gay marriage, so
Right.
people have that. That has always been a libertarian
Sure.
position.
Of course.
Marijuana is becoming legalized.
Of course.
That has always been a libertarian
course.
position. And prostitution, I don't know what your
Right.
position on that
No,
is,
listen,
but if
it's
it's
your body,
voluntary,
it's your
that's
body,
right,
do
it's
what
your
you wanna
body, what
do.
you want to do, has always also been a libertarian
That's right.
position.
That's right.
And there are many others that I think we're slowly closing in on.
Well, listen, I think we got some events coming up that we should
Yes, we
discuss.
do.
Why don't we
Yes.
get them
That's
out?
what
What
I've
do
been
we
waving
have?
around here.
Awesome. That way we can talk about it. And if people really, if you've got the time, like we were saying, tomorrow, you guys won't see this show. You'll miss this, but it's the first Tuesday of the month. Is the Libertarian Party of Ulster County at the New
Actually, the Hudson Valley Libertarian Party.
the whole Hudson. Okay.
Right. Because of the ballot access thing that we won in the election last time, now all the chapter of the Libertarian Party, local chapters, are becoming county organizations.
Wow. Okay.
Now, not all in the past had they been county organizations. Sometimes they're multi-county organizations.
Right.
So we had the Capital Region
Right.
Libertarian Party, which covered several counties, and we've had the Hudson Valley Libertarian
Right.
Party. Are we in Sullivan?
Yeah,
Right
we're in
here, no,
Orange.
We're in Orange,
We're in
okay.
Orange. Yeah.
Okay.
We live in Ulster.
Orange was part of the Hudson Valley Libertarian Party. Technically, so was Sullivan, Dutchess, Ulster,
Right.
and I think Putnam. I'm not sure. So because of that win, now we are empowering each county to have their own Libertarian
Awesome.
Party. But we're going to also have a coalition of Hudson Valley Libertarian county parties.
Okay.
All right, so it's going to be like the United Counties of the Hudson Valley. And each one of our set of rules, local libertarian rules, we're going to have an affiliation where we will do things in concert with each other.
Awesome. Awesome.
You put your name on there, you're part of those roles now.
That's right.
And they
That's right.
realize, hey, now we got to listen to the libertarians.
That's right.
Yeah, yeah.
That's right.
Awesome. Hey, listen, this has been a great interview with Gary. Gary, you're welcome back to the show.
Yes,
anytime.
thank you so
Well,
much.
It was a pleasure having you here.
Welcome back, everybody. So,
Pretty much the end of a show, honey.
pretty much. And
Well, we got a lot of stuff coming up.
we do have a lot of stuff coming up, but that was a great interview.
Oh, yeah.
I thought that was a
Yeah.
really good interview.
Yeah, they all are. That was just a good one. I really enjoyed that one. I mean, I could have talked to him all night long. That's my point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it wouldn't have, it wasn't more like it was more like a
Yeah.
conversation than an
But-
interview.
Final thought with that is just go out and register. Register to vote. First and foremost, do the research on what party you should be in.
And I
Do the
clearly-
research. Don't just choose because someone in your family is that.
Right. And if you haven't heard of the Libertarian Party, please look it up because it's
Please
a
do
it's a
your
very
research.
important party.
Please
It's a
register.
very-
We need you to register.
very forgiving.
Your country needs you to register. We need you to register.
Right.
First Tuesday of every
Every
month
month.
in the Plaza Diner in New Paltz, New York, is the Hudson Valley Libertarian Party meets. And
Great bunch
show
of people.
up, man! Great bunch of people. Lots to learn. And
Great ideas. We're really on a campaign.
this is
to get
this is the
people to-
time. We need the change. We all do.
Well, that's it for us this week, folks. It's been
Sure is.
Man, it's been a
It's been a long one, but
yeah.
we've
Hey, you know one other thing I have to say is that I wish I wasn't wearing a Baja Serabi
in June.
with the heat on at the station. I mean, it's just I don't know.
Mother
what I
Nature
have
is
to do.
furious. She's purging, and we all need to get a clue.
But it really just it takes a lot out of me. It is. And by the end of a show, I'm very tired. Yeah. But guess what?
What?
We'll rock it out next
We
week.
will.
All right, babe. What do you think?
I think that you all should live the changes you wish to see in your world.
And we'll be back.
Can we talk? Should I be asking you? Is a plain conversation something we can do? It's a simple thought in the back of my mind. People spewing vitriol that need to unwind. Thinking drastic, acting spastic, interacting only through screens and plastic. Civil in public, but I'm not causing discord. Only picking fights as a keyboard warrior. Making it so people need to designate a safe space. No one wants to talk at face to another face. Online and think you can hide your identity, but thinking like that removes your integrity. Anything you're thinking of saying or doing, trying to keep it right or interacting with a human. Let's get together and remove the social block. Can we ask you, can we talk?
Rather than the screams and shouting, can we talk? Rather than the blaming outing, can we talk? Rather than accuse each other, can we talk? Can we try to act like brothers? Can we talk?
Can we talk and share a brand new perspective instead of only listening to things we find attractive? You might feel cozy, but there's a hidden danger spending your life inside an echo chamber. Thinking one way to the point of saturation means that you're cutting off to any moderation. And when you think it touches to the sound of altercation, you're dragging your society to nothing aggravation. A little bit of life there, what you have to say that can be supplemented with rocks and pepper spray. Some people don't want discussion or debate, and will try to spread their messages with violence and hate. Some people think this thought is absurd, but you can win the people with some kindness in your words. We put